Hello, everyone. Welcome to For All Nerds. I'm Uncolored Page, and today we have a very special guest with us. If you're into the gaming side of Twitter, you may be familiar with the account called Shitty Gamer Takes. It's personally one of my favorite Twitter accounts. And today we'll be talking to the person behind it. Here is Danya.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
First, we're going to get off with what Shitty Gamer Takes is, in your own words.
Well, Shitty Gamer Takes is a kind of what it's supposed to be a documentation Twitter account that is the reason that I made it for the most part, and the reason that I still run it is to kind of shine a light on the kind of toxic behaviors that many people in the gaming community have, and that a lot of people seem to either ignore or they just don't think is that big of a deal, even if they don't ignore them. So the whole idea is to show this is a problem. It is a much bigger problem than I think a lot of people realize, and it's much more pervasive than I think a lot of people realize. So that's kind of what it is, pretty much what it is, honestly. There's also some, fun little community of people that, comment on that and stuff like that. But it's mostly just just documentation of the kind of people that sort of solely the gaming community and make it a less fun place for a lot of people.
Yeah. I like that you call it documentation. Like in the future, when civilization is wiped out, the aliens are gonna come here and find these tweets, and they're gonna be like, "What is wrong with these people?"
It's a time capsule of the the 2000s, just awful gaming community
Yeah,
issues.
this really weird
Um,
time we're in.
yes, it is. It is every day I wake up, I find, more proof that this is probably the worst timeline. Um, but yeah, I have had people come and say to me, thank you for having this as a not a list, but kind of a folder of this type of behavior that I'm trying to tell people happens, and people want to say no, it doesn't. And it happens to be a very useful tool in those cases for someone to say no. There's some idiotic person on Twitter that is documenting this for reasons that are beyond pure logic. So look at this, and they thank me for that. So that's kind of what it's there for. So
Yeah, I'm glad, like, because I have personally seen a lot of people say, I've never seen any gamers say something like that, but there's so much, like, proof of it that there's a Twitter account that has
exactly.
thousands of tweets of people just being like that. Yeah, how did Shitty Gamer Takes get started?
Well, it started. It's almost 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years ago in September, and back when PewDiePie got into justifiably hot water for saying a racial slur on his live
I
stream.
think you mean gamer word.
Uh, yes, the gamer word. My friends actually they say that a lot. They'll be like, "It's the gamer word," and I'm like, "Ah." But anyway, they're joking. But that aside, so he did that, and a lot of people, were rushing to his defense because he's PewDiePie, and I don't know. But Ian Miles Chung, and if someone wants to tell me that I'm pronouncing that last name wrong, please do. Um, he made a tweet that was essentially like, "Why are people getting mad at PewDiePie for having a heated gamer moment?" And I had I have some friends that were like talking about that, and one of them mentioned someone should make like a gamer takes account. And because this was back when take accounts were kind of really growing into their own as a subsect of gimmick accounts. And I thought it was really funny. So I was like, haha, I'll actually invest time into making this account for the joke. And so that's actually how it originally got started and why. But almost immediately afterwards, and the fact that it immediately got backlash from a certain subsect of people, I was like, "Oh, yeah, I can actually, like, use this for a better purpose to, like, show these behaviors and these mindsets that so many people in the gaming community have and are weirdly proud of, and no one seems to want to, like, step up and be like, hey," or they'll defend it, or just completely ignore it. So that's how it got started, and we're still going strong almost 2 years later. Woo.
Yeah, it's going like super strong too, because you just surpassed like 100,000 followers on Twitter, right?
Actually 115,000.
That's awesome.
We
Yeah.
just hit that. Uh, 115 was not that long ago. It's slowing down a little bit, but yes, we hit the big 100. So every day is interesting at this point.
And how do you feel about how big Shitty Gamer Takes has gotten?
Gonna be completely and utterly honest. I feel very weird about it. Um, I didn't think it would ever get this big. I had no expectations for it to. So there's a weird love-hate relationship for the account. And I've kind of always had a weird relationship with the account because obviously I have enough of a positive experience to keep doing it, but there's I'm not going to lie, and I don't think this comes as a surprise to anyone that there's a lot of negatives that come into it too. Especially when you get to this size. There are a lot of people that don't like the account, and there are a lot of people that don't like me, and that's weird to deal with. I've never had that kind of experience before. Well, people have like not liked me in the past, like that's whatever. It isn't to say that I necessarily care, um, but it's just strange. It's a strange feeling, and it's hard to find the words to describe it. Um, but like I said, I've had people thank me. There are a lot of people that I've had really interesting conversations with. Um, so like I said, it's weird, it's positive, it's negative, it's all kinds of things that are hard to describe, but it is what it is. And unless Twitter bans me, or if I literally get sick enough, it's gonna keep going and for the what is the word? For the unforeseeable future. There we go.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine how like running that account feels like. I know there's like a ton of like positive people there, and you've garnered like a really great like community of people that are like
Hmm.
that see the takes and are like, yeah, what the fuck is wrong with them? And I still wouldn't know how to feel about all the people like dogpiling on the account, like he didn't say anything wrong here or something like that.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you kind of get desensitized to it, and there's a lot of times where you're just like, okay, if you don't get it, then like I'm not going to sit and explain it to you. But there are times where it's like I feel, and that's the problem with running something like this and having hard feelings the way that I do about things like this. Because to me, there are things that I post, not everything, but there are things that I post that I feel are unequivocally like bad. Like this shouldn't be a conversation. And then people will like jump on and be like, no, it's actually fine. Like the whole thing with the ooblets devs. Dating this, don't mind me, but with the the going to exclusivity with the Epic Game Store and all of the and not criticism, but the actual horrific backlash they got with death threats and threats of violence and just all kinds of terrible things. To post something like that and to have people actually jump up and say like, "No, they should have seen it coming. This like they're the person that said that they had it coming was right." It's like it's frustrating and it's aggravating.
Yeah.
And I try not to let it get to me, but it is what it is. Um, I think that there are a lot of people now that the accountants got bigger that probably do see me as kind of a hot-headed person, which I am. Um, because when people like rise up and say like, "No, this thing is fine," and it's something that I like see as like black and white, this is a bad thing, then I am going to get heated. I am going to get upset because it's like I shouldn't have to tell an adult person that a developer doesn't deserve death threats because they're moving their exclusivity to their Pretending Fun Time video game to the Epic Game Store. And they were kind of mean to gamers about it. And it's like, I shouldn't have to have this conversation, you know? Um, and there's more than just that. Recently I found out that there's another big takes account that apparently has a problem with me. Um, so it's stuff like that that it kind of taints the experience of running this account and having those good conversations and not just like, oh, I agree. Like that's not the type of good discussion I'm talking about. I feel like this account and this community, we have had discussions of, things that aren't so black and white, where people can have a conversation about like, why would someone say this? Why would someone agree with this? Um, and I think, in things that aren't like saying a racial slur is never going to be like, oh yeah, great, let's have a conversation about that. But other things.
Yeah.
Um, I think that it's important to have conversations about that because that, um, it's just important to have conversations like that. I shouldn't really have to explain that, and I'm at loss for words about why it's important, but um, it is, and so I try not to let the negativity get to me, and I think for the most part that I do a good job. But I guess that's not really for me to say. So,
Yeah, I would say so. And yeah, it's really weird how we live in a weird like dystopian society where there's two take accounts on Twitter, or in one like really doesn't like the other for whatever reason.
Yeah, learning about that was weird. Like, I'm not going to name names, but I found out about it at like 12:30 in the morning and I was like, what is happening? I didn't sign up for this. I didn't think this was a thing that actually happened. And now I'm getting thrown in the middle of it. So yeah, it's like I said, we're in the weirdest, darkest timeline. I am a firm believer of that.
Yeah. And now I want to talk about you and what you do outside of Shitty Gamer Takes, because I see that you're an artist as well.
That I would like to think that I am. I am. Yes, actually I'm not going to say things like that because I don't want anyone to think it is okay to say things like that about themselves in terms of their art. I am an artist. I'm actually a pretty boring person. Um, I'm a 26-year-old. I live in the Midwest, Missouri specifically. Please don't dox me. Um, and I have a day job. Um, I I draw. I hang out with my friends. I play, Dungeons and Dragons. I play video games, even though a lot of people don't believe me when I say that. Um, and yeah, I don't pretty average existence, honestly. I do love art. Art's been something that I've done since before I played video games. Pretty much since I had the tactical ability to hold a pencil or a crayon or any writing instrument, I've been drawing. So that's my first and foremost passion. Um, I have always loved the idea of creating, of making something that wasn't there before. And so that's why I spend most of my time. Other that drawing, eating, and napping is pretty much what I do outside of Shitty Gamer Takes and working, but half of that sleeping.
Okay, cool. And what is Pinkish Heart Studio actually?
Pinkish Hearts. Oh, I shouldn't cover my mouth when I'm talking. Pinkish Heart Studio is my brand of like my art creativity outlet. It's gotten by other names before, but Pinkish Heart Studio is the current um, reincarnation of it. It's just me. There's no other person that resides in the studio. Just little me. And it's, you know, making cute and colorful, happier things for people to enjoy. I actually sell at conventions. So the first times I sold at conventions, I actually sold under a different name. But something about going to conventions and seeing anime conventions, I should, you know, specify. There's all types of conventions. I don't go and sell at like gun conventions or anything, not yet. But so um, seeing these people come in and look at all this stuff and be so full of happiness and wonder and look at art, not just my art, but anyone's art, and be like, this is so cool. Like this inspires me. I'm so happy to see this. You've drawn something that I really love. That fills my heart with so much joy. So that's kind of the purpose of Pinkish Heart Studio, is to make things like that, to give people that sense of like inspiration and joy and happiness in just seeing something that's, you know, colorful, or something from a series that they love so much. um, because I think that's just a beautiful thing. Like every time I go to conventions, I end up crying at some point because I'm just so full of positive, radiant emotion being surrounded by people like that. I love anime conventions. I could go on all day about, you know, how great they are as a concept, and in practice most of the time. There have been bad convention experiences that I have had and others have had, but we don't need to get into that. But that's what Pinkish Star Studio is. It's just another way of saying this is Danya's art without having to use my incredibly bizarre and unique name, um, more than I have to. So
That's good. I'm glad you have like another like outlet to put your time into away from shitty gamer takes, because yeah, the negative
oh
dogpiling.
yes. If I didn't, I would probably have quit so long ago. There was actually a point where I think I stepped away for like 2 months from Shitty Gamer Takes, because I was like, man, I'm so tired. Like, I don't want to deal with this for right now. But it is good. I am very glad that I have these other outlets. You know, I have my art, I have my friends, I have my family that I live close to. I have my job. Oh, I'm not a fan of my own day job. But you know, actually, I probably do like my day job more than Shitty Gamer Takes sometimes. So I take that back. I actually do have fun at my job too. So, um, yeah, it's really important when you run something like that to have the ability to step away from it, because it it can really mess your mind up, I think. And there have been times where, I mean, like we talked about, like, you know, I'm having some weird situations right now going on, and I'll sit on the account and I'll be like, I don't want to be here anymore, so I'm going to go do something else. And you know, it helps to wash my brain, wash those negative, weird emotions away, so I don't have to think about them. And then I come back and people are talking about something fun or making a joke at some weird nerd's expense, and I'm like, cool, we're all good again, and it's all giggles and smiles. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's
art's good.
super.
Everyone should get into art.
I agree. It's super important for people to like have like some kind of creative outlet besides like what they do mainly. Well, yeah, yeah. I guess that's what you do mainly.
Yeah, I mean, you can get burnt out of anything. And then, and I mean, it goes on the flip side too. Like, I'm really glad that I have other outlets besides art,
Yeah,
because there are times like where, I mean, obviously, like the whole concept of art block and burnout and things like that. So I have video games. I have, you know, other things that I do. So it's important to have different hobbies, different things that you can go do, so you don't get burnt out and you don't dwell on negative feelings regarding anything that you do.
Yeah.
Uh, so basically, don't put all your eggs in one basket. You can have a basket that you prefer, but don't have multiple baskets, people. It's really important. Trust me.
It's super important, yeah. But I wanted to finish this off with us reading a few of our favorite Shitty Gamer takes. Do you want to go
There's so
first?
many to choose from.
Yeah, there's so many.
Sure, yeah. Well, first of all, I'm gonna go to the most recent one, which is the one for the special edition Nintendo Switch. It's just a picture of the new Pokemon Sword and Shield special edition Nintendo Switch.
I remember
It's
this.
pink, and it's not even pink really. It's like a magenta color, and blue. Okay, so we have the picture of the Nintendo Switch, and some person, not going to assume genders, but person, says looks feminine. Someone comments, seriously? Person, clown McShoes McGee, my pet name for all the takes posters. Um, Yellow, turquoise, this, no white or black. It's like Nintendo forgot straight men who still play video games exist. It's like, man, one of the colors is blue. Bruh, come on. Like, yellow is completely neutral. Like, shut up. Get out of here.
Straight men only like black and white. No colors, no just extremes, one side of the spectrum or the other.
Yeah. It's like, goodness, come on now. And actually, that was the most popular take to date. So that's probably a big reason why it's one of my favorites, because it absolutely skyrocketed. And it was one that didn't really meet a lot of negativity, so that holds a special place in my heart. Anyway, next up is regarding Tifa's redesign for the Final Fantasy VII remake, and just BT dubs. She looks fantastic, and I love her. And I will not take any slander on her name or her design.
She looks so
but
cool.
Anyway, so this person says, still stand with my opinion. She was censored since Advent Children. It wasn't right back then, and it's still not right now, even if mini games are even more revisionist. Tifa stood out from the other girls thanks to her boobs. There was no reason to add some e-sport bra on top of it. And it has a picture of Aerith, Tifa, and Yuffie, who don't know if the people listening to this have ever played Final Fantasy VII or have looked at Final Fantasy VII like from the distance. All three characters have like super different, unique designs from one another. So the whole reason this take got posted was the Tifa stood out from the other girls thanks to her boobs. It's like, no, bro, she didn't. She stood out because she looks completely different from every other character in the game. My God.
Final Fantasy VII had such good character designs. They look so different.
It really did. It really did. I love Yuffie's design so much. Yeah, that was also weird because Yuffie's like 16, so it's like, we don't really need to talk about any boobs regarding Yuffie, but whatever. So yeah, it was just like that whole shabacle was kind of like a favorite take of mine, because it's so ridiculous that none of these people know how breasts work, or like if they're not literal power moon orbs on top of a person's torso, they're not quote unquote big boobs. And it's like,
she is not a woman.
She still has, her boobs are still pretty big, even with a sports bra. So that says right there that they're pretty honking big. Because if you wear, I don't know if you've ever seen anyone wearing a sports bra that doesn't have a gigantic chest, but it's compression based, so it will go down. So if she has like any shape there, it's like she's good. She's not lacking in the department, but she's a martial artist, so it makes sense for her to have some kind of compression up there.
Yeah.
But none of these people know how breasts work, so it's like, oh my goodness. And then my last one is of course the original gamer take from Eant. My you gotta give it up for Eant, Ian Miles Chong. You're just a never-ending fountain of takes. But going back to PewDiePie, why is everyone mad at PewDiePie? He just had a heat and gaming moment and said the gamer word. And he didn't actually say that he said the gamer word, but in so many words, that's basically what he was saying.
That's honestly a classic.
It's it's where it started. It's where everything started, and it's what it all goes back to. You got to remember your roots, folks. Always remember Ian saying that PewDiePie just had a heat and gamer moment. Just had a heated gamer moment. He just said a racial slur in anger towards another person. Like what? Racism? How? It's like
There's no way. He doesn't even exist.
Yeah, what? How is that's not racist? Anyway, so yeah, those are my top 3 picks. But all of the takes have a special place in my heart because obviously I agree that they're bad enough to post because I'm the only person that runs the account. So they're all special to me in their own little way, my little children. Anyway, how about you? What are your favorites?
I think okay, I have my 3 here. My one of my favorites is this one. One Angry Gamer, who's a great person to follow. President Trump calls for regulation of violent video games and more internet censorship. And Tickles Goldberg says...
Hashtag.
I forgot the one that had hashtag lollycost. I think that was also a good one. But this one from a clown named Tickles Goldberg.
I like that.
On one hand...
You're good.
On one hand, fuck you, Trump, for this. After all the gamer memes supporting you. On the other hand, if his idiocy causes the modern Western game industry to crash and make game activists cry, nothing of value is lost. No sides to be taken. Just eat popcorn. I think it's worth it to crash the entire video game industry. So
it's
people
also
I don't
worth
like cry.
noting, I don't know if you were going to, but modern Western is in Echoes.
Yeah, I saw that.
So that adds another little layer of, anti-Semitism on top of everything, which is just what was needed 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely the type of big brain take that this world needs all the time.
It's like all of the factors of each post like go up and like boost the overall like score of it, and it's really good.
Yeah, the smug goblin slayer reaction image is pretty good too.
Yeah, also that, yeah. Another favorite of mine is this recent one about EA Sports NHL with a hockey man wearing a rainbow jersey. And someone says, "Man, why do they gotta bring LGBTQ into this game?" And someone replied, "Hockey is for everyone, that's why." And he replied back, "Oh, it is? Not according to God and Jesus Christ if you read your Bible." I didn't know
the Bible is nothing more than a guide to the NHL. Like, of course, duh. Like, how can we not see it before?
Only Jesus could have foretold hockey.
Matthew was a Blues fan. It's common knowledge.
The hockey portion of the Bible is one of my favorites. But my all-time favorite is this one. Okay, so if Smash Bros. Isn't a fighting game because it's different to your average fighting game, then blacks aren't people because they're different. Which is...
When I read that one, I had like a physical recoil. Like, we're talking about fighting games. It's like I literally got hit in the stomach. Like, I wasn't blocking. I wasn't prepared. And I got juggled. And that's what I went through reading that for the first time. And I want to say, like, this was a pretty quick turnaround. Because I can't remember if this one was submitted to me or if I found it on my own. Um, but in either case, the moment I read it, I was like, all right, it's time to go post. So it was a very quick turnaround, like a revolving door. Like I just walked in and I was like, I'll just be taking this, and I walked out and I threw it up there and I was like, you all have to suffer too. So yeah, that's a pretty high ranking one. It's like, because is that might have been the first one that I did the whole like shitty gamer analogies, maybe, because it's very obvious that like they're not saying like, well, they kind of are. I feel bad even trying to like kind of justify this because it's so bad. So I'm not, but it's very obvious supposed to be like kind of an analogy, but it's still so bad. It's like, dude, you can go a different direction. You don't have to bring up that
There's so
and
many
say that.
analogies.
Yeah, like you have other things that you can go to, and you went straight for black people. And like, goodness gracious. It's, oh god. Yeah, that one got quite a reaction from folks. Like I remember the comments flooding into that one being like, "What?" um so yeah, that's a pretty good one to choose. That's a good one to have as your top.
Yeah, I had a physical reaction when I was reading that too. Like it felt like it hit me in the face with how quickly it went from one side to the other.
Yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, it's just Smash Bros. Isn't a fighting game. Like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Black people, okay, geez, they're different. All right. Oh, you just saying the quiet part loud, huh? It's like they were just whispering and you're kind of leaning in, like trying to hear what they're saying. Then they literally they pull out the bullhorn and rupture your eardrum. Um, yeah, like the more I look at it, I'm just like, that is, oh.
It's like a double
It,
play too, because he's baiting the other who he's talking to say that they're racist for not thinking black people aren't people because
yeah.
Smash Bros isn't a fighting game to them.
It's like, yeah, there's layers to this one, and it's weird because it's like I'm trying to find the word because it's like I don't want to say that's a good pick because this isn't good in like any regard. Maybe it's like that. Yeah, that's a tasty one. That's a tasty one, bruh. Like you picked up. Yeah, yeah. I can. It melts in your mouth with how just bad it is.
Okay, and I think that's gonna be it. And where can we find you besides the Shitty Gamer Takes Twitter?
In hell. No, just kidding. So you can find me on Twitter at XO underscore pinkish heart. And yeah, so from there you can find me all over the big wide internet. It has links to my website, my everything. So just check me out on Twitter. I am even more loud and obnoxious over there than I am on Shitty Gamer Takes. Because and a lot of and to like throw back, a lot of people get mad at me about talking like outside of the gimmick. I run the account for free and I have a lot of opinions. So people think I'm annoying over on Shitty Gamer Takes. I am 10 times more annoying on my personal account. So if you want to check that out, if that sounds like fun to you, you're free to come over. If not, I would strongly suggest staying away. But it's up to you. I always enjoy the company. So yeah, come check me out.
I'm thinking I'm gonna take that quote you said just now. People get mad at me for talking. I think I'm gonna tweet that at some point.
I mean, it's true. People get so. I have. Do you know how many times gimmick accounts out of character has been added on my post? Like, if that account tweeted all of the times that I've been added, it would be nothing but my account. And it's like, I know that they're trying to be smart and kind of like in an offhand way tell me to shut up. But I'm like, no, man, like get that account over here. They're like my best friend. They have a key to the house. Like they're allowed in. They can post whatever they want on my account. I don't care. I'm not gonna shut up. I've never known how to shut up. So like yeah. It's a good time though. But thank you for having me. This has been really fun.
Yeah, thanks for
And
joining me.
yeah, thank you so much.
And thank you, the viewer, for watching.